Friends are beginning to join forces to buy homes together in response to the modern housing market. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't cry when reading this headline, you are not human. Forget just sharing a kitchen, and a chore chart. Have you ever been forced to live with somebody and you have a chart where you each do chores for the house? Fuck that. People aren't doing that anymore. Friends are now taking the ultimate leap of faith together. It's like they're lovers now and they're buying property together. Listen, with my limited, and I mean limited in the sense where I don't have a degree to sell homes. I don't have a real estate license, whatever. I just know some terms around it. I've watched some shows around it, whatever. You buying a property with somebody that you are either not business-wise connected to, you know what I mean? So that there's contracts to hold you two together, or marriage, like you're planning to build a life together, I sound like from Alabama, a life together. You should not buy property together, and this is why. Friendships, listen, you might say they last forever. More often than not, they don't, especially when you begin to involve actual concrete assets. Because, listen, I love Ramsey's line on this. Dave Ramsey, he's this idiot bald guy. He's not an idiot, but he yells at people who are idiots with their money, and he's made a career of doing that. So I generally don't think... I don't think that his advice is revolutionary most of the time. I don't think that it's very insightful. I think it's just, stop buying DoorDash. Stop buying DoorDash and quit using Klarna and get your debt in order. That's the majority of his advice. And I like it a little bit, but the most that I know about housing and whatnot is that it's slave and lender. The moment you and your friend, they have a business, you have some sort of, you lend your friend some money, you are slave and lender. Your relationship changes once you have money involved in your kind of leveraging whatever. It changes the dynamics of your friendship. I'm sorry. I'm watching these news stories that they're covering these girls. They're like besties that are like 20-year-olds, and they're like, let's buy a home together. I was talking. God damn it. This woman's name is Cammie Moody, and she's got a bestie. They drink matcha together. They drink lattes, and they said, let's go. Close on our house, and then this is it.
If you know me and my roommate, you probably know that we are buying a house together.
We bought a house. This morning, it's the latest hack for younger Americans trying to get a foothold in an unaffordable housing market.
My dad definitely was raising his eyebrow, like, is that a good idea?
Well, yeah. Well, yes, because your father belongs to the Breakfast Club generation, and they were sold the dream of home ownership that their parents were and whatnot. And listen, They look at you and they think, oh my God, you're insane, because the most you should ever do with your friends is rent, because that's the most that you can ever handle. Most of the time, you'll after living with somebody, you'll realize, fuck, a lot of people are deadbeats most of the time, and they're not gonna. If you do some arrangement where it's like, oh, I'll cover your half this time, but make sure next time that you got it in order, they're not going to. That's what friends are. That's what 20-year-olds are. I'm sorry, but it's true. And a lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of people don't realize that their friends who they go to the movies with and, they've known each other since high school, whatever, they understand each other pretty well. They do not understand what it's like to live with somebody. I'm sorry. People change when you live with them. That's just a fact. You don't understand the 360 of someone's personality until you're forced to share a kitchen.
Like Jacqueline Cusimano and Cameron Moody in Florida choosing to buy a house together instead of continuing to rent as roommates.
What kind of reaction do you get from friends or other people, especially younger people, when you tell them you bought a house together? People are like, what the heck? Yeah. Like, that's crazy. And then other people are like, are you sure?
This fall, the 24-year-olds closed on a 4-bedroom, 1,700 square foot home about an hour outside of Palm Beach.
That's why. That's why. Okay. I was going to say, you got two pretty girls, you got, they clearly have lip filler. Sorry, they're white, but so, I see these mayonnaise monkeys and I go, oh, yeah, you clearly don't have lips that big that are natural. Well, they're from Florida, so maybe they do. Maybe they got like a Cuban dad or something like that, but you can clearly tell that one of them is like of Irish descent or whatever. Like she's got these blonde, like this blonde hair and whatnot. This, not Irish. Maybe I shouldn't say Irish. She looks Welsh. That's a better way to put it. And there you got this one girl who looks like she might be a mix of something. And you're like, oh, I get it now. You're OnlyFansers. You got a content house. I get it now.
That were just 1 bedroom, and they're as expensive as our mortgage.
Jacqueline, who's a realtor, and Cameron, who also worked in real estate, used their savings and bonuses from their jobs for the down payment and closing costs.
We split everything half.
The National Association of Realtors says the typical age of first-time home buyers in the U.S. is now 40 years old, the
Soon it'll be 80.
highest on record.
Gen Z is looking younger. They are super ambitious.
Did you just say Gen Z is looking younger? We're getting older by the day. Half of us have Dustin Hoffman fucking lines around our noses.
And super focused, and they understand that things are unaffordable.
Co-buying a home with friends is a trend real estate agent Trisha Lee from the series Owning Manhattan says is becoming more common as young Americans look for ways to overcome high prices.
So you figured out the equity builds, and it actually makes what's unattainable attainable.
She says this
Equity for who? Because eventually you're going to have to leave. You're going to leave the property. Who does that equity go to? Is it transitioned between both homeowners? You're going to share this equity with somebody? Or is it going to be mainly entitled to one individual? What is your plan here? And especially these girls, they're doing 3 friends that bought a home together.
Doesn't want to wait to get married to get the benefits of owning a property and generating wealth. An idea that hit home with Jacqueline and Cameron.
How are your husbands going to feel about this? Or wives? I will not judge.
It felt very rewarding to be able to be a single woman and just being able to own something for yourself and to do it with my best friend.
My best friend.
So we asked Jacqueline and Cameron what their plan is if one of them wants to move out. They said that they did have that conversation before closing on the house. They decided they could just rent out the property for additional income that they would then split evenly, Michael.
All right, and
Michael.
we hear about that and it seems great, but there have to be risks. What are the risks of buying a house together?
It's your friend, and you do not like your friends. I'm sorry. You kind of do. You like your friends enough. You like your friends when you have the limited petri dish, that's what I like to call it, experiences, where it's very controlled. It's within a very limited portion that you decide where you want to put it. You can put it on the countertop, you can put it in a bar, you can put it at your house, you can do whatever you want. You're in control. A lot of people, they don't want to take that petri dish and ingest the infection, which means living with it for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Living with it for an extended period of time. That is when the infection festers in you. No one likes that. No, everybody, listen, your friend, I know it sounds rude to compare your friend to a disease or a bacteria, but that's unfortunately what a lot of people are. They are disease. They are people who will eat your Chobani without asking you. They're people who will use your instant coffee even though it's yours, and they don't even drink coffee half the time. They just wanted to make their hot cocoa a little a little more interesting. It has a different flavor or something. They just have the dumbest shit to say. One of them cleans the walls with lemon, and it ends up making end up making the eggshell paint even whiter in one splotch. So it's well, god damn it, they're gonna know that we were smoking in this room, and now we're not gonna get our deposit back. So listen. You can have your friends, you can orient with your friends, you can do whatever you want. Once you live with them, you're going to realize you want to kill them. I'm sorry, you want to murder your friends.
This is a serious financial commitment, and Realtor Trisha Lee told us a verbal agreement between people co-buying a house really is not enough.
No.
She says it's important to have a written legal document before you make the purchase outlining who's going to live in the property, how equity will be divided, what happens if someone needs to move out because of a new job or a new relationship. And she says it's critical to have that conversation about how long you plan to live together before you even start looking at homes, to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So something to think about, Michael, if you and Sam are really going to go in on it.
These girls are going to be Barb and Star. Does anybody know Barb and Star? Barb and Star is a movie that I'm going to take a moment to introduce people to. Barb and Star is, I believe they were characters on SNL, but there is a movie called Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. And it is a movie that came out, I believe it was on Amazon or something? It might have had a theatrical debut. But it has Kristen Wiig, which is how you're supposed to pronounce it, according to the Norwegian whatever. But I understand people will go, oh, you're being a douche. It's Kristen Wiig, whatever. And Annie Mumolo? It's Mumolo, I think. Annie Mumolo. They're best friends. They own a home together. They are just, they go on a vacation. They go to Vista Del Mar, and they wear culottes. They are just delightful women. I don't know where they're from, in all honesty, because their accents are so peculiar.
Oh, I was just playing with this lamp. Oh. I'm
Star. Short for Starbra.
Assuming yours is Barbara.
Nope, just Barb.
Barb.
No Barb.
Starbra.
Barb and Star. We're hosting tonight's Talking Club, and we're making their hot dog soup. I like the salt. I like the hot dog. It's not as runny as it usually is.
Ew.
When does she try? Oh, she gives me bigger teeth. No,
They
big
just-
teeth. She loves big teeth, even if it's just 2 eyes on a bunch of teeth.
It's a delightful little romp.
I love it. It's like I'm listening to the ocean. Wait, we don't have cell phones. I know I'm going to take it home and glue it to our landline.
Apparently they don't have cell phones.
Hi. I'm Barb, and this is Star.
What number again, please, sir? 611.
6'11"? Oh my, Barb. Oh my God, she's 6'11". 6'11"? We're in 124.
Yeah. Watch it if you have the time. It came out 2021. Holy man. Time's flying faster than I thought it would. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that movie, I'd recommend you watch it because it's actually a warning. It's a warning to you as men and women that you will end up like these women. You will end up alone, living with your best friend, with no relationships. Beyond that, hanging out in your two-bed, your little twin beds. You look like a married couple where you share a bedroom and whatnot, and you're like, oh gosh, I just can't sleep. And then you just hang out and you go on vacations with your best friend. They think that you're gay. They think you're lesbians, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're also just living your best life. But a lot of people, they will think of you as bizarre. And eventually, if you have one fight, it's all over. I'm sorry to say it. Your friend will, they will sell it out from under you. Eventually, at a certain age, in their, 70s, 80s, they're like, I only have 10 years or so left. Why don't I just fuck over my friend and go live on a yacht for a few years? Or a cigarette boat, because in all honesty, a lot of people, they're going to end up in a canoe. You know what I mean? A lot of us are not going to end up in a yacht by the end of our lives, but whatever. We'll cover one more thing from CBS News, and we'll jump into the rapid fire section.
In our Money Watch housing guide, we are asking, how far would you go to become a first-time homeowner? Would you, for example, go so far as to buy a new home with a friend and then live in it together?
No.
I'm all here for this. I think this works. Nancy Chen, she's been investigating. She's going to...
No, Nancy, no. Gail wants to say no.
The market is pushing...
Gail King, you're a king.
There are boundaries being pushed right now. Good morning, Cody. From buying homes with friends to moving in with family, the numbers show that splitting home ownership is on the rise, and some even think it could be the new norm. But
No.
before you go in on a mortgage with your bestie or start packing for mom and dad's, there are a few things to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Now, I might stay after you leave.
Gilbert Nantechi and Kwame Nkrumah.
Kwame Nkrumah.
New City house, home. They watch sports together in the living room.
I think the Bucks gonna do their thing this year, man.
Share an office when working remote.
I have availability at 12 p.m. today.
And split chores. But they aren't just friends and roommates, they're co-owners of this house. And they're part of a growing trend among millennials and Gen Z as breaking into the housing market has become more difficult.
You're both under 30 and you have a house. That is a pretty big thing to do these days.
Correct. But it felt really good doing it with a partner. We mitigated a lot of risk.
An industry survey from earlier this
Okay,
year.
these guys might be gay. They might be. It's debatable because they wear nice they wear nice clothes. They have a very soft way of speaking. They wear nice cologne. And I admit, listen, men are looks maxing these days. Men are looking finer than ever. Men are primping and themselves. They're looking nice. But these guys, they just look really well put together, and their way of sitting, with the way that the other one looks at the other one when he's talking. You know how you can just feel it in the air when you're like, oh shit, maybe.
Americans have co-purchased a home with someone other than a romantic partner.
15%.
48% say they would consider it.
Do you think you could have been homeowners if you didn't buy a place together?
The answer is a hard no. I would not be a homeowner in 2024 had we not co-bought.
Niles Lichtenstein launched the company Nesmint last year to help simplify the co-buying process.
Is this what it takes to buy a house these days?
Yes. For the past 50 years, property prices have way outpaced wage growth, and that's created this incredibly large gap.
I'm curious why that is.
Split major expenses with before, like rent or a vacation. Create a joint bank account with 3 to 6 months of expenses. And finally, hire a lawyer or use a service like Nestman or Cobuy to write an agreement that will help mitigate risks, such as a job loss, unplanned expenses, or one of the owners deciding to sell.
Of course.
Your incomes together, share some of the risk together, be smart about it along the way, and buy your first home.
It's not just co-ownership growing in popularity. Multi-generational homes with at least 2 adult generations under one roof are also on the rise. Since a study analyzed by CBS News found a 57% increase of 25 to 34-year-olds living with their parents.
Of course.
The past 20 years.
Why wouldn't there be?
Pennsylvania home.
Yeah, things are just getting unaffordable, guys. Housing market-wise, it's looking a little grim, and I don't know why that is. There's just less money for a lot of people. Listen. And also there's an argument to be made that a lot of people don't work nearly as hard as they did in the olden days. Sure, maybe there's more people on TikTok using food stamps. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. I don't know though. Whatever.
Contractor Kevin Kennedy has seen it firsthand and says older Americans are taking advantage of the benefits too. Since the pandemic, more than half of his jobs are home conversions to accommodate multi-generational families.
It's a frenzy of people trying to buy homes, so this is another alternative.
And Kennedy knows the benefits.
So what's for dinner?
Pasta, your favorite.
He built this addition to his house for his in-laws.
Oh my God.
They're not paying the big taxes on their house, they're not paying any big insurance. We consolidated a lot of that into this house.
But he says by far the best benefit is getting 3 generations under one roof.
That's a nightmare.
Putting a smile on my mother and father-in-law's face when they walked in for the first time and saw their house.
No. I'm sorry.
More people, though,
no.
Even close friends and family can mean more stress if you do not lay out some guidelines. Experts say make sure to define clear responsibilities from the outset, including financial ones, and also emphasize the importance of respecting each other's privacy and setting those boundaries.
Are you convinced?
No.
Okay.
I could see...
Gail King is noticing.
Everybody could have their own section. But I just think with friends, I just think that gets very dicey.
But if you can vacation together, spend time together, you can live together and make money together. Money is the motivator, Gail.
But vacationing together, Nate, there's a beginning and an end to that. If you're living together, it's just not for me. But if it works for other people, I say great.
And the folks that we interviewed, they really liked it. I mean, it's like being roommates. You have a lot more responsibilities, and
roommates, we did that in college, Nancy.
Yeah, guys, get ready to go back to college.
Well, that's I do think.
But you can buy, rent it out, and then buy again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then build your portfolio.
And someone's always going to get that package off the porch.
Yep. Someone's going to pull the package off the porch. You're going to get robbed, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Maybe he's warning you of something that you really got to be worried about. I don't know. You need to be worried about the fact that there's no housing for you anymore. If you're not living in a house right now, guess what? All the homes, they just got bulldozed. That's essentially what we're telling you, is there was a nuke that destroyed every remaining available house, and you're done. Now you're going to live on the streets, and guess what? Zora Mamdani is going to find you housing. You know what I mean? You're going to live in a New York hovel. What is it called? You're going to live in one of those condominiums where they like rent out an entire apartment building and they give it to people that's like Section 8 housing. Yeah, we'll do that. And then it'll be a beautiful, brave new world that we live in. And I can't wait for it.